Hey guys, Zach here from Kubota Lynchburg, and today we wanted to do a video for what is new coming in 2024. Some exciting new things on brands, options, the industry, the economy, what's going to happen next year in 2024. All right, so today what we're going to do is I'm going to start off with basically an overall overview of what I think is coming in 2024 as far as the industry and business and tractors and mowers and everything like that. I can't really predict the future, but I'm going to try my best. We're also then going to go over all the brands that we sell, what's coming new, what new features they're coming out with, what new models. So if you're only interested in one or two specific brands, you can scroll down underneath the video. I'll have a drop down where you can basically pick and choose which ones you're looking for, and you can skip right to that time. So I've got some notes here that I made on what's coming next year, the end of this year, and what to expect for the future, which obviously in the last couple of years we've dealt with the whole COVID situation and supply chain issues and employee retention issues and pay and the whole 9 yards. It's been a crazy last couple of years. We're starting to see things kind of settle down, taper off. We're getting back to what we'll call a normal year as far as business and the tractor and construction industry goes. So as we get back to a normal year, we're actually going to see a decrease in overall sales because in COVID, there was a huge boom in sales that everybody saw, and now we're not going to see that as much. Which Neil Messick's Equipment out there has a great video on, there's potential that some of these smaller brands that popped up or got their name out there during the COVID when everybody was buying might actually taper off or go out of business. It's worth, if you're interested in that, it's worth watching Neil Messick's video on that. It explains why some of these small tractor brands, TYM or Coyote or some of those other brands, Branson, they might actually end up having to go out of business because there's just not enough sales to share between all the other big brands like Kubota or John Deere or Massey. So that might be something we see, is that some of those brands that picked up during those busy years might actually end up going out of business or get bought out by other businesses. So it looks like the next thing I want to talk about is the economy. Obviously, the economy has been a little interesting as far as interest rates, and the federal interest rate keeps going up. This video is filmed in November. We expect to see another interest rate coming in December, which means when you go to finance and everything like that, the interest rates on financing is going to be increased, which means used equipment or bank loans or anything like that is going to still be hurting. Which also means that people's rent and everything like that is going to continue to be higher, and mortgages are going to be higher, which means buying the smaller compact equipment is still not going to be as popular. A lot of people will still need it, but we're not going to sell as much residential equipment. Now, the commercial side is going to be great. The construction business is still booming. People are still building and buying land and working on it, so we're going to see an increase there. Those finance rates on equipment, we've slowly seen them getting worse and worse. As far as for you guys, as far as what the interest rates are, what buy-down fees and everything, and I continue to see that. Again, we're going to get back to a normal year where a 0% financing is going to be a more rare thing. You're going to see those lower rates, 1, 2, 3, 4% interest on buying. And we're just going to have to get back to the fact that, all right, when you buy, when you loan that money, you're going to have to pay some interest on it rather than being a 0%. So I've already seen that this year happening. I'm going to continue to see it probably over the next year. Expect to pay interest. Expect to have to pay those low interest rates. The workforce is probably going to also even out. We've already seen that. Everybody was desperate for employees. That's starting to even out a little bit more. The workforce is becoming a little bit more prevalent. People are still getting back to work from COVID and everything. Working from home isn't working out for everyone. There will still be some needs and niche places. There's, our mechanics, for example. I know, to be an experienced mechanic, you can pick and choose where you want to go right now. But the overall, general workforce is getting better. It's not as difficult to find an employee at this time. So let's go into some of the brands. So I'm going to start off not with Kubota, surprisingly, but one of the ones I'm very excited for is actually SCAG, our lawnmower brand. They have a lot of new things coming out. SCAG has been amazing to work with as far as a dealership goes, and the quality and the customer support is great there. But they're coming out some really cool things. So some of the basics are going to be, they already have a nice stand-on sprayer. They're coming out with a smaller version, a 36-inch version to fit into those gates and those tighter areas. It's It's a little bit more compact, a little bit more price affordable. Instead of like a 60-gallon, it's a 30-gallon. It's going to have still some of those really nice features. They're working on a remote control robotic mower. We sell a similar version called Agria right now, but it can mow up to 55-degree slopes. Heavy duty remote control for mowing those dams and everything like that. Into the fun things that they're getting on is they're coming out with what's called the Jackal. And so that is their stand-on skid steer. So like a Dingo or a Ditch Witch or the Kubota SCL 1000, they're going to have their own stand-on skid steer, which is going to be really nice because, again, the SCAG support on the back end is great for us. And to have those available to, the landscapers out there and everything like that with that SCAG brand. They've already got their SCAG mowers. That Jackal is going to be huge. The reason they're naming it Jackal, I'm not sure if I'm supposed to say this, is because if you think about what eats a dingo in the wild, it's a jackal. So I expect good things out of that. And probably what's going to be the most popular thing out of SCAG is going to be their new V-Ride XL. So they have their stand-on mowers right now, which is called the V-Ride. There's going to be a V-Ride XL. And that is going to be very similar to the Wright stand-ons as far as features, dual fuel tanks, 14 and 16 cc transmission options and everything like that. I've got videos out there that compare the Wright stand-on to the SCAG stand-on. And what I've always said is if I could have the SCAG mower deck on the Wright stand-on platform and design, we would have the best option in the market. So sure enough, SCAG has come out, and I have a feeling that they are going to do this for us as far as having this stand-on option with the dual fuel tanks, the nicer transmission, some nicer features, and now you can get it in a 72-inch mower deck, and you can even put dual wheels on it. Or if you don't even want to go the dual wheel options, I think they're coming out with a 28-inch wide tire on the back, which again, stability on slopes and dam sides and everything like that is just going to be amazing. So SCAG doing really good things coming in 2024. One more thing on SCAG is they are putting a suspension seat as well as a suspension platform on the Cheetah. So now it's not just the platform because it was a little rough. Now it's the platform with the suspension seat. That Cheetah is going to be comfortable. So next, let's go into Kubota. Kubota's got some good products coming out. They've got a new disc mower coming out for those smaller size tractors. So it's like a 9-foot working width. It says it requires 50 PTO horsepower. So realistically, I need a 50 to 60 horsepower tractor like the Kubota MX series. If you're cutting hay, or let's say you already have that smaller tractor for helping with the raking and the tedding of it, now you can put its own separate disc mower onto it, and you can have that disc mower handle, on the MX when you have your bigger tractors going as well. Kubota's doing a lot of renovations on their RTV series. The RTV X900 and X1120 is going bye-bye. No longer going to have those two models. They're consolidated into one RTV X. There's no numbers with it, it's just the RTV X. So we go from two models to one, but it takes the better features out of both those models. There's no side doors or shoulder harnesses, but it has the nicer engine, nicer transmission options. They've redesigned the look to it, which includes things that should, in my opinion, should be integrated already. LED headlights and better comfort features and everything like that to it as well. So that new RTV X is going to be very nice. It's limited production at the moment, so if you're interested in one of those, get your name on a waiting list somewhere because they're going to be not many shipped out the first year, but they're going to be highly popular. They're also coming out with the RTV X1130, which is a long bed RTV. It's a single row of seats, so just a single two-seater, but it has a very long bed, over 6-foot bed on it, with a lot of different options to that bed. Some of those options are going to be the RTV X series. You guys can watch some YouTube videos on where the side rails will open up and everything on all of them. You have extendable platforms, you have winch options in the bed, but that X1130 is on a 1140 frame, so that long frame, but with the RTV 900 base there, but it's going to be very useful for municipalities, fire departments, things like that, as well as if you haul a lot of stuff with your RTV, this is going to be a nice option. Or if you go hunting with it and you want to winch the bear or the deer up on the bed of the RTV, you can absolutely do that without having issues now because of the way they designed that tilt long bed. We've got the new LX2620 coming out, which is the new version of the LX2610. Kubota came out with the LX3520 and 4020 earlier this year. Great models. Haven't seen a ton of them, but they're really nice when we get them. And the LX2620 will be building on that new series of LXs with newer, nicer features as far as the operator station and the LED headlights and redesigning some of the features on it. So that's a nice option coming out soon. My predictions for things that will be coming out very soon is they came out with the SVL 75-3, that -3 model being a ton of nice features. I'm expecting a new SVL 97-3, and that 97 should be full of all those same features that the 75 has, which is awesome. You know, your LCD digital display screen that has all your diagnostics right there, air-conditioned radio already built in, backup camera built in. It's a fully sealed cab. You've got speed and traction options and all sorts of things you can custom do with this. It's, you know, key coded rather than a key. You put in your code and everything. The -3 is awesome, and I expect the 97 to be coming out hopefully this coming year in 2024. I'm hoping and looking forward to them revamping the BX series. They hinted at it a couple times this year, but they're going to be revamping and rebuilding the BX series because that's Kubota's most popular series, the #1 selling compact tractor in the US for, I don't even know, over a decade now. But I'm expecting the new 90 series BXs to come out if that's the model option they choose with. But some of those features like LED headlights and better design features should be coming soon. No ETAs, unfortunately. And then the KX057-5, that's getting redesigned. Not a ton different there, but again, some nicer features. Kubota's just tweaking everything to make it a little bit better for the operator and make sure that value and reliability is there. And not really Kubota, but Curtis Cabs build a lot of cabs for all the different brands and models and everything like that. And Curtis Cabs is actually making a air-conditioned roof for the RTV X1140. So if you have a 4-seater RTV, the X1140, or you're looking to buy one, we've never had an air-conditioned option. But they showed it off to us this year at the Kubota dealer meeting, where it's going to have an AC unit in it. And that AC unit system is going to be integrated into the roof. You'll need the factory cab with all the metal doors and everything. So it won't be cheap. I'll forewarn you that. It's not going to be a cheap option. But now you can have an air-conditioned diesel 4-seater workhorse model. And Curtis Cabs is coming out with that. They said hopefully springtime. So by summer, you might be able to, if you got the money, you might be able to get yourself a nice, comfortable rod. OrangeLine Trailers is made by Big Tex, but they're partnered with Kubota, so I'll talk about that real quick. And they asked us what we would want to see in the future, and we want to go ahead and see some more trailer options for our package deals. So they're going to start working on basically getting some of the Big Tex trailer options, the deck overs, the hydraulic tilts, the goosenecks. So if you're looking for a trailer with a package deal, which right now you can get everything at 0%, you should be able to get some of those with some more trailer options coming soon. If we look at the Wright stand-ons, again, I talked to you guys about SCAG stand-ons. It's going to be very much competitive with Wright now with some of the features they're coming out with their XL. Wright is coming out with another model option. It's going to be between their basic commercial, which is their X series, and their full commercial, which is their ZK, and there's going to be a middle option. So if you don't want to spend all the money of the ZK and you can't really justify that, then at this point you can basically just choose to have a little bit less money invested on the ZK option, but not downgrade all the way to the X and have a good in-between, a good basic model without getting too expensive. And Wright has always had outstanding stand-on mowers. They've been the #1 in the industry for a long time. They're also doing some small feature upgrades like the platform seat cushion and everything like that. They're going to upgrade that. They're going to go ahead and change that up, and it's going to be a lot nicer. Let's see. Ventrac, I have no ideas what they're doing for 2024. They're always redesigning. They're always innovating and stuff, but they never tell us dealers before they come out with things. So I don't know much, but they did just come out with the new Kubota fuel-injected engine, which is really nice. Better fuel economy, better reliability and everything like that. And they also came out with the loader system. So if you don't have a tractor, but you have a Ventrac, now you can put a really nice loader with bucket on the front of it and everything like that. So they're always innovating, but I don't have any predictions on what they're going to do next year. And then if we go with Land Pride or Implement brand, they have a couple nice things. So if you have an excavator or getting one, they're going to actually have that the bush hog that goes on the excavator, as well as a flail mower option. So some of those options coming out. The nice thing about Land Pride producing these is you can get your low rate or 0% financing on them either by itself on the Implement or with the excavator. And of course, it's spec matched to it. It's quality, parts and services right there. And for us as dealers, we can floor plan it and stock it rather than some of the other brands. Land Pride on the smaller tractors, they're also coming out with the FSP 300, which is a smaller spin spreader for the BX and B series. It's made a little bit nicer. It's quick hitch compatible. It's easy to see in, very easy to use. So a little nicer spin spreader for those of you that are just hobby doing pastures and food plots and everything like that. And they're also coming out with, finally, I've been asking for this for years, a compact tractor root grapple. So right now they have the SGC series, which is the claw grapple on the front of your tractor, but they're also coming out with a root grapple for these smaller 20, 30, 40 horsepower tractors, because before this, your only option was construction grade or off-brand. Again, you can 0% finance that. You can get implement rebates with those grapples. You can get as a package deal. Us as dealers, we can stock it and floor plan it so much nicer. So Land Pride coming out with some good options. I know they're working. They already told me they're in the works on getting a mulching head for a skid steer. I don't know if they're designing their own or buying another company, but they are working on that, so they're going to work on getting us skid steers. So that's kind of an overview on everything that we sell, on what's coming for 2024. Again, I can't predict the future great, but I expect 2024 to be a much more normal year, unlike 2021, 2022, and the beginning of 2023. So we're getting back to normal. You'll see some better pricing as the consumer side, you guys buying stuff, you're going to see better pricing, the ability to negotiate a little bit more with us dealers, so you can go back and forth and haggle a little bit more, which you haven't been able to do for the last couple of years. So that's some of what's coming for 2024. And of course, if you have questions or suggestions or ideas, let us know.